Prepare yourself, gentlemen. What if everything you've been taught about attracting high-value women is fundamentally flawed? What if chasing, impressing, and constantly seeking validation isn't just ineffective, but actively repels the very women you desire? It's time to flip the script and discover the quiet, unshakable power that doesn't just protect you, but pulls her in without you lifting a finger to chase. Many men mistakenly believe that to attract a woman, they must relentlessly pursue her, constantly seek her approval, and bend to her every whim. They live in fear of losing her, inadvertently compromising their self-worth in the process. But the man she truly craves, the high-value woman, is drawn to a different kind of strength. The man who lives in fear of losing himself. This isn't just about dating. It's about embodying radical self-respect and an unwavering sense of self. It's about shifting your focus from what she wants to what you will not tolerate. These are not walls to keep love out, but rather filters that safeguard your inherent worth. In a world where men often bend for validation, the man who stands firm in his values becomes undeniably magnetic, not because he's trying to impress, but because he refuses to betray himself. This is the foundation of lasting attraction, far more potent than looks or superficial charm. Let other men chase. You protect your peace, and watch as she gravitates towards the man who refuses to be moved. Here are 8 powerful boundaries that don't just protect your peace, but instantly attract high-value women. 1. You don't entertain disrespect. This boundary is foundational. It speaks volumes about your self-worth and how you expect to be treated. Disrespect can manifest in myriad ways, from the subtle to the blatant. It might be a seemingly harmless tease that pushes the line, talking over you in conversation, or casually dismissing your feelings. It could be manipulative behavior, attempts to make you feel guilty for her emotions, or a general lack of regard for your well-being. A high-value man doesn't laugh along, thinking it's harmless. He recognizes these as attempts to test boundaries or erode his respect. What truly attracts a high-value woman in this scenario isn't a dramatic outburst or a drawn-out explanation. It's your serene, unwavering response. When you calmly withdraw your energy without drama or a lengthy justification, she notices. This quiet power communicates that you do not tolerate games. It shows that your peace is paramount, and anyone who threatens it will find their access to your energy immediately curtailed. This isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. You set the emotional tone, refusing to be dragged into chaos or to match negative energy like screaming or testing. Instead, you ground the room with stillness, which commands the deepest respect because it demonstrates complete control over your own energy and, by extension, the dynamic of the interaction. When you don't entertain disrespect, you're not just protecting yourself from immediate harm. You're cultivating a deeper sense of self-respect. This is crucial because vague boundaries often reflect low self-esteem. By clearly defining what you will not accept, you strengthen your own sense of value and competence. It's an assertion that your feelings are valid and your well-being matters. This steadfastness prevents you from being taken advantage of, like someone using emotional blackmail or trying to guilt-trip you. You understand that your dedication and affection are reserved for those who truly deserve it, and disrespect signals that someone does not meet that standard. A man who upholds this boundary teaches others how to treat him, fostering mutual respect within the relationship. This decisiveness, this resolute stance against any form of disrespect, is a hallmark of a high-value individual that truly commands a woman's attention and admiration. 2. Your time is sacred in a world of instant gratification and constant connectivity. The man who truly values his time stands out. This boundary isn't about playing hard to get. It's about living a life of purpose and making deliberate choices about where your energy is invested. It means you don't cancel your pre-existing plans simply to see where things go with someone new. You don't feel obligated to reply to messages instantly, as if her texts are emergency alarms demanding immediate attention. Your schedule isn't an open invitation for others to fill. It's a carefully curated reflection of your priorities, goals, and personal mission. A man who values his time trains the world, including the women he encounters, to value it too. When you consistently honor your commitments to yourself, whether it's your work, hobbies, family, or personal goals, you communicate that your life has direction and significance independent of anyone else. High-value women are instinctively drawn to men who possess this kind of intrinsic motivation and self-management. They feel the weight of your schedule, not as an inconvenience, but as an indicator of a man who is actively building a life, rather than just waiting for one to happen. This boundary extends to the frequency of communication and meeting. While you appreciate her company, you don't need to meet every day or engage in constant messaging. You maintain your personal space and me time, understanding that true connection doesn't require constant physical presence or digital interaction. This self-sufficiency shows that you are not clingy or insecure, traits that are universally unattractive. By asserting your right to your own time, you foster a relationship dynamic where both partners respect each other's independence and personal pursuits. It's about setting clear expectations early on, perhaps even saying, "I love texting with you, but I can't text during the workday," or "I usually hang out with my friends on Wednesday evenings. How about Thursday?" These simple, direct statements protect your schedule and communicate your boundaries without apology, reinforcing that your time is a valuable commodity not to be squandered. This deliberate allocation of your time reflects your discipline and unwavering focus on your broader mission, making you exceptionally appealing. 3. You master your words. The man who masters his words understands that silence can carry more weight than 1,000 explanations. This boundary is about quality over quantity in communication. You don't overshare to impress, nor do you feel compelled to explain every single decision you make. Instead, you allow your silence to cultivate intrigue and command respect. When you do speak, your words are chosen with direction, purpose, and clarity. A boundary of words is far more powerful than a physical wall, inviting a high-value woman to lean in, curious to understand what lies behind your stillness. This mastery means communicating your needs and boundaries directly and clearly, without apology. When setting boundaries, particularly if you tend to be a people pleaser, it's easy to soften your stance or offer excessive explanations. However, a high-value man expresses what he needs using I statements, focusing on his own feelings and requirements rather than accusing or blaming. For instance, instead of saying, "You always send too many messages," you might say, "I felt overwhelmed by the constant notifications this morning. I want to talk to you, but it's best if you only send one message. I'll reply when I can." This approach clarifies your boundary while maintaining respect. Furthermore, mastering your words means knowing when to be concise and when to offer a deeper explanation. While you don't need to justify every boundary, your needs and desires are valid, simply because they are yours. Sometimes a brief reason can aid understanding and strengthen the relationship. For example, if you dislike a particular nickname, you might say, "I know you mean to be sweet when you call me honey, and I appreciate the sentiment. But I really don't like the smell of honey, so it makes me uncomfortable. Please don't call me that. Sweetheart works though." This demonstrates emotional intelligence and a willingness to facilitate understanding without sacrificing your boundary. Ultimately, mastering your words is about intentional communication, ensuring that what you say holds meaning, reflects your inner conviction, and fosters clearer, more respectful interactions. It speaks to a man who is confident in his thoughts and articulate in his expression, a trait deeply valued by discerning women. 4. You don't chase emotional validation or closure. This boundary is about profound emotional independence and self-possession. If a woman ghosts you, disrespects you, or plays games, a high-value man doesn't desperately seek explanations or chase after her for closure. He understands that closure isn't something given to you by another person. It's something you own, a state of mind you cultivate within yourself. He lets her wonder why he walked away so effortlessly, because his emotional well-being is not dependent on her actions or validation. This also means you set the emotional tone of your interactions and refuse to be dragged into emotional chaos. If she screams, manipulates, or tests your resolve, you don't match her intensity. You don't engage in tit-for-tat arguments or succumb to emotional blackmail. Instead, you ground the room with stillness, demonstrating an unshakable inner core. This isn't just about controlling your own emotions. It's about controlling the entire dynamic. This boundary, though unseen, commands the deepest respect, for it signifies a man who is truly a master of his own emotional landscape. He recognizes that healthy relationships are not about controlling each other's emotions, but about supporting mutual growth. Moreover, a man who doesn't chase emotional validation isn't afraid of conflict or negative emotions. He understands that expecting 100% harmony or meeting every single one of another person's needs is impossible and unhealthy. When difficulties arise, he's willing to address them directly, even if it means temporary discomfort or the potential for the relationship to change. This willingness to stand firm, even in the face of emotional pushback or the threat of withdrawal, is a powerful indicator of his inner strength and lack of emotional dependency. He knows that sacrificing his peace or self-respect out of fear of losing someone is a red flag, whereas voluntary compromise, born of genuine care, is healthy. This profound sense of self-reliance and emotional fortitude is incredibly attractive, signaling a partner who is a source of stability, not a drain of emotional energy. 5. You protect your personal space and privacy beyond your time, a high value. Man meticulously guards his personal space and privacy, understanding that not everything needs to be shared or open for public consumption. This boundary encompasses your physical space, your personal belongings, your digital life, and even the pace at which you introduce a new partner to your closest circle. It shows respect for your own boundaries and implicitly demands the same from others. Initially, this might mean not immediately integrating a new partner into your established friendships or family dynamics. You allow the relationship to develop organically, choosing when and how much to share about your inner world or personal life. Some things, like a personal blog, a sketchbook, or certain family histories, remain private because they are sacred to you. This isn't about secrecy. It's about maintaining a sense of self and individuality outside of the relationship. It's about protecting your core values and preventing others from impacting your beliefs or actions in ways that go against your true self. In the digital realm, this boundary translates into clear expectations around social media use. You might discuss comfort levels about posting photos together or changing relationship statuses. Crucially, a high-value man does not share personal passwords or grant unrestricted access to his devices. While he might open his phone for you to change the music, the underlying principle is that his digital privacy is a boundary to be respected. This communicates that you are a discerning individual who values your personal autonomy rather than someone who is an open book or easily swayed. Women are attracted to men who possess this strong sense of self, who are comfortable in their own company and don't feel the need to merge identities entirely in a relationship. It signifies a mature understanding of interconnectedness within a relationship, where two individuals come together while still maintaining their unique selves. 6. You maintain financial independence. Money can be a tricky subject in relationships, often exposing underlying values and boundaries. A high-value man understands that financial independence is not just about having money. It's about being in control of his resources, making responsible decisions, and not allowing financial matters to create undue stress or dependency in his relationships. This boundary signals self-reliance and foresight, qualities that are profoundly attractive to high-value women who are often self-sufficient themselves. This boundary means you're open about financial expectations, ensuring that dating doesn't become a financial burden. You might suggest splitting costs or propose more budget-friendly alternatives if an activity is too expensive. More importantly, you have a firm boundary against lending money, even to friends or family, and certainly to a new partner. This isn't a lack of generosity, but a principle rooted in long-term financial stability and avoiding complex power dynamics that can arise from debt. If asked to lend money, you can politely decline, offering alternative ways to help if possible, but holding firm on your principle. Furthermore, a financially independent man is not easily manipulated by expectations related to money. He doesn't feel compelled to spend lavishly to impress, nor does he allow a partner's financial needs to dictate his decisions. He masters his money, ensuring it serves his larger mission and goals, rather than allowing himself to be controlled by it or by others' demands for it. This isn't about being stingy. It's about being responsible and strategic. A high-value woman respects a man who manages his finances wisely, who has goals beyond immediate gratification, and who is not dependent on her resources. This independence reflects a broader capability to manage his life effectively, making him a reliable and desirable partner who contributes to a relationship out of abundance, not out of need or obligation. 7. You define your physical and sexual limits. This boundary is perhaps the most personal and non-negotiable, emphasizing consent, comfort, and mutual respect in physical intimacy. A high-value man is clear about his physical and sexual boundaries, and he respects those of his partner, ensuring that all intimacy is consensual, enthusiastic, and free from pressure. He understands that a truly loving relationship does not necessitate physical closeness, and that no one owes another person anything in this regard. Communicating these boundaries early sets clear expectations. This might involve stating your comfort level with public displays of affection, or explicitly saying, "I'm happy to come to your place for dinner, but I won't be staying over." As the relationship progresses, this boundary encompasses deeper conversations about sexual preferences, safe practices like mandatory condom use, and personal limits. A high-value man prioritizes safety and mutual comfort, never pressuring his partner into anything she is not fully comfortable with, such as engaging in unprotected sex or specific acts without clear, verbal consent. He's also willing to discuss and adhere to practices like mutual STD testing before certain steps are taken. Crucially, this boundary is fluid and can change at any time, and a high-value man respects that. If a partner changes her mind mid-intimacy, he immediately stops, reinforcing the concept of ongoing consent. "I'm not comfortable right now. I love you, but I need more time," is a statement he understands and respects without argument or manipulation. He also recognizes that physical boundaries can be location-dependent. What's comfortable in private may not be in public. By clearly communicating and steadfastly upholding these physical and sexual limits, you demonstrate profound respect for personal autonomy, not just for your partner, but for yourself. This respect builds immense trust and fosters a sense of safety, making you a desirable partner who truly values and honors a woman's body and choices. It shows you're not driven by impulse but by respect, a trait that sets you apart. 8. You never abandon your mission or purpose. This is the ultimate boundary, the one that underpins all others. A high-value man never abandons his life's mission, goals, or vision, regardless of who enters his life. She may be beautiful, intelligent, and desirable, but your life does not begin and end with her. Your purpose, your discipline, and your aspirations remain your North Star, even if it means walking alone for a while. This is because your life has direction, with or without her in it. This boundary is a direct reflection of your innate self-worth and inner drive. It stems from the understanding that genuine self-esteem is a byproduct of cultivating competence and maintaining control over your own life. It's not about being selfish, but about being whole. A man with a clear mission understands that his individual growth and contribution are vital, and he isn't willing to compromise these for temporary relational ease or validation. This means he invests in his personal development, nurtures his emotional intelligence, and consistently strives towards his dreams, whether they are career-focused, intellectual, or contribute to personal mastery. High-value women are profoundly attracted to a man who possesses this unwavering commitment to his purpose. They see a man who is actively building something meaningful, who is driven by an internal compass rather than external circumstances or the whims of a relationship. This shows strength of will, the courage to think big, and the perseverance to strive for a better future. It communicates that he is not easily swayed by temptations or distractions, because he understands the long-term consequences of abandoning his path. He is grounded, resilient, and inherently attractive because he embodies self-respect and refuses to sell himself short for anyone. His commitment to his mission makes him a magnetic force because it demonstrates that his worth is intrinsic, not dependent on external approval or the presence of a partner. He is a man who truly embodies the essence of a high-value individual, and that, more than anything, is what makes her stay. These 8 powerful boundaries are not restrictive rules. They are deliberate acts of self-respect that redefine the very nature of attraction. By embracing them, you shift from chasing validation to radiating unshakable quiet power. You communicate that your worth is inherent, your time is sacred, and your life has a profound direction. This stoic resolve, this refusal to betray yourself for anyone, creates an undeniable magnetism that pulls high-value women towards you. Focus on protecting your peace, nurturing your mission, and staying true to your values. In doing so, you become the man she doesn't just desire, but instinctively pursues, the man who refuses to be moved.